All right, artists. So our art for today is going to be inspired by Papel Picado from Mexico. That means perforated paper or paper with holes in it. Here's a picture of some Papel Picado hung up. So there are lots of different sheets of paper and they have little holes cut into them to create different images. Today we are going to be using scissors, so we're going to make sure that we're safe to cut into paper. But originally these Papel Picados used to be carved into pieces of bark from trees. Isn't that cool? Like I said, our artwork is inspired from Mexico today, so I'm going to show you where that is on a map. Here is a map of our whole world, of all the places that you can go in our world. And this is a zoomed in picture, or just part of our world, showing part of North America, where the USA is, which is where we live, and then Central America and South America below it. And now even more zoomed in, we can see that Central America is right below the United States of America where we live, and Mexico is right there with 3 red arrows pointing to it. It's purple on this map, and we are going to be inspired by the artwork Papel Picado that comes from there. Before we get started, I wanted to show you some Papel Picado that I had around my home. You can see that it's lots of different colors, and you can see that there are holes that show through it. Usually Papel Picado uses tissue paper or really thin and colorful paper, but we're just going to use regular old paper today, and you can color it in if you'd like to. I'm going to first take the corners and I'm going to fold them over and try to make the corners touch as best as I can. And once I'm done with that, I'll hold one hand down and slide the other one over to create a crease or a fold in my paper. And then I'm going to turn my paper and I am going to draw some shapes, because remember we're talking all about shapes this week, on the side that's folded, not the open side. So I'm going to draw right onto the edge. I'm going to start with a triangle, and then I'm going to use kind of the shape of a J or a candy cane to create half of a heart, and I'll show you what happens when I cut that out. So it should go right up to the edge, and then I'm going to grab my scissors. So we're going to need scissors for this. Oh, first I'm actually going to go around. I want the outside of mine not to be a rectangle, so I'm just going to make some fun bumpy lines to cut out too. For this project, we will need scissors, so make sure you have somebody nearby to keep you safe, and make sure that you're always pointing your scissors away from your body. So my fingers are on the bottom, thumb on top, and I am turning my paper, not my scissors. When I go around a corner, I don't want those scissors to start facing me. I want them to always be pointing away so I stay safe. And when I'm finished, I'm going to put them down so that I am staying safe. I'm going to turn my paper and cut out those shapes. So for this triangle, I'm going to just cut one side and then go back and cut the other. Then I can pull off that little piece of paper and do the same for the candy cane shape that I made before. So I'm cutting into a folded edge of my paper. So when I'm done cutting, you'll see what happens when we open it up. Again, I turned my paper so that I didn't have the scissors ever pointing towards my body, and now I can open it up and look, my triangle turned into a diamond, and that candy cane shape turned into hearts. Now I can fold it another way and do the same thing, and that will just add some different shapes onto the different parts of my paper. So I'm going to speed it up and show you how you can use a semicircle to create a full circle. Now when I open it up, I have a full circle or an oval. It looks a little bit more like a balloon shape because I have a little point on them. But I can even try again and do it another way. You can do diagonal folding, and that's just going to add cuts into the parts of your paper that you haven't reached before. So those full pieces of paper, I'm making sure that I'm not cutting all the way through, but now I'm just going to do some long lines and see what happens when I open up my paper. So this time I didn't even draw. And let's see, it just creates these cool long shapes. And I'm gonna do it again the other way to fill in all of my paper as much as I can. And again, I'm just cutting away from my body on those folds, making sure I don't cut the entire fold, only part of it, or else my paper might fall apart. And then once you clean up all your scraps and open it up, you have your very own Papel Picado that you can hang up.